that leads us into today's big deal.
Yeah! So, what's the big deal?
The big deal is the Republicans have officially nominated Donald Trump, and they're going on in. So in the general election, do you think that they're going to now, you know, the strategy is always in the primaries, you pander to your base, right? So you either go really hard right if you're Republicans, really hard left, in the case of the Democrats because of Bernie and all that stuff. But a lot of people are theorizing that maybe Donald Trump is going to soften up when it comes to the general election. The Republicans are going to try to go for a wider base, maybe appeal towards women, gays, black people, as they tried to do in the Republican convention. Do you think they're going to do it? And if they do it, do you think it's going to work?
Okay, I really doubt it. Donald Trump has done everything possible to make himself look bad, one. And then the guy that's running for vice president with him, isn't he like totally anti-LGBT? Yeah.
Oh, totally. Yeah, he's very, very, very
what do you expect?
Now, Dennis, his name is Mike Pence, by the way, and he's the governor of Indiana, and they had something about, you know, trying to prevent gay marriage or people having to adhere to it or whatever. Dennis, whenever you meet a tall, preppy white guy who's really hard-lined anti-gay, what's your theory about him?
I get hard too, honey. That's what I think. Yes.
I thought you were going to say that you were going to turn him. Vivian.
What?
Tell us what you think about the Republicans. What are they doing right? What are they doing wrong?
So I have my notes about this. I think there's a couple things they're doing right as a party. Not precisely what I would want them to do right, but however, they have the nonstop attacking Clinton. So they haven't stopped with that. They have this, you know, they made the image of her as an untrustworthy person.
Right.
They've done a good job right there. And they're creating the fear that we are on a massive decline as a country. So that's the kind of thing that the Republican Party is doing right. What they're doing wrong is, like, in my opinion, attacking minorities when it comes to racism, when it comes to attacking the biggest segment of the immigration segment, which is the Hispanic people. They're doing that, and then also they are diminishing. Is that a word?
Yeah.
Yeah, women.
How?
Is that a word?
Okay.
Well, you know, we watched the speech on the Democratic National Convention of Cecile Richards, the head of Planned Parenthood, and she was saying that, yes, I mean, Donald Trump has said before in the past that women are an inconvenience for employers and that we are fat pigs and dogs. And she said something very interesting, which was, we are going to be an inconvenience for him when it comes to the election because maybe he won't get lots of her votes.
Absolutely. Well, Donald Trump is very lagging behind with women, although he says he's doing better. I'm a stickler for what people mean, even if it's the devil talking. So when it comes to that, he didn't say. When he said women are an inconvenience to employers, it just so happens that there's more female executives in his company than there are male executives.
And then we have babies, and then we have maternity leave.
Well, that's a separate conversation. But just you know, Ivanka Trump during the Republican National Convention said that in the Trump organization there are more female executives than male executives. But that's just a fact.
That's a contradiction then, what he's saying.
Because that quote is kind of old, and that's something that he might have said in the 90s. But people evolved. The second thing is, I'm a stickler I'm a stickler for saying, you know, that Donald Trump is calling women fat dog. He was calling Rosie O'Donnell a dog.
My, but you can't.
Tiziano Ferro one time called Mexican girls bigotonas, and I still remember that, and I will never accept it.
Yes, okay.
Bigotonas meaning that we had a mustache.
Yeah.
Okay, and if you zoom me, I do not have one.
No, you haven't.
So I will always remember that.
All right, now it's time for the millennial perspective on the Republican National Committee.
Yeah! Oh, bring it over here. Bring it over here, baby.
Hello.
Hey, get in there.
I'm here.
Bruno.
Oh, I have so much to say.
Republicans, Donald Trump.
They're doing everything wrong. First of all, why elect Donald Trump as your candidate? They should have just nipped that in the bud right there.
Well, that's why a lot of Republicans didn't even show up to the Republican National Convention.
Right. There was a staged kind of like event where there were people kind of like, no, boo, Donald, we don't want him. So, you know, there was
extras, you know that, right?
It was definitely. It was scary. Also, Donald Trump's speech, I mean, he was like, hey, free healthcare, free education, babies are gonna have dogs, and dogs are gonna give birth to, you know, it was saying the most ridiculous stuff with absolutely no solutions.
Yeah.
He's not solution-oriented. How are we gonna change stuff if you don't have a way to do it, Donald? How are you gonna change it, bro?
He's got
no political background, people. Like, what do you expect?
That's the thing, and guys, and I've been saying this for a while. I am one of these people that does not believe Donald Trump really wants to be president. And he's showing that by his lack of information. He basically throws out platitudes that basically appeal to the lowest common denominator in the Republican base. And there was even reports that he offered the vice presidency to John Kasich, and he told John Kasich, you'll be the most powerful VP of all time, because he doesn't want to handle day-to-day duties. I've been saying, can you imagine Donald Trump waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning to some CIA report about some country he's never heard of? He doesn't want to deal with it.
He's going to be a puppeteer.
Yeah, he wants to come in runner-up. I honestly believe he wants to come in runner-up and go back to running Trump, whatever it is.
He's insulting the general market and, frankly, supporting ignorance, which is so not what we need right now, especially with the whole, you know, a lot of people who are getting on his train of thinking. That stuff leads to violence, leads to degradation, destruction. I mean, that's not healthy.
He's dividing the country from inside out. So
well, there's division on both. There's division on both the Democrats and the Republicans. But listen, we got to go out to commercial. Before we do, let's mock Republicans and just cheer for ignorance. Ignorance, 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 ignorance. We're mocking Republicans.